Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 10, entitled Prahlad, the best among exalted devotees, text 12. Katha Madhya Yushamana Priyastvam. Katha Madhya Yushamana Priyastvam. Aveshyamam Atmani Santam Ekam. Aveshayamam Atmani Satam Ekam. Sarveshu Bhuteshvadi Yajnanam Isham. Sarveshu Bhuteshvadi Jnanam Isham. Yaya Svayogena cha karma hinvan. Yaya Svayogena cha karma hinvan. Katha Madhya Yushamana Priyastvam. Aveshamam Atmani Santam Ekam. Sarveshu Bhuteshvadi Yajnam Isham. Yaya Svayogena cha karma hinvan. Katha, messages or instructions. Madhya, given by me. Yushamana, always hearing or contemplating. Priya, extremely pleasing. Tvam, yourself. Aveshya, being fully absorbed in. Mam, me. Atmani, within the core of your heart. Santam, existing. Ekam, one, the same supreme soul. Sarveshu, in all. Bhuteshu, living entities. Adi Yajnam, the enjoyer of all ritualistic ceremonies. Isham, the Supreme Lord. Yasva, worship. Yogena, by bhakti-yoga, devotional service. Cha, also. Karma, fruitive activities. Hinvan, giving up. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. It does not matter that you are in the material world. You should always continuously hear the instructions and messages given by me and always be absorbed in thought of me, for I am the Supersoul existing in the core of everyone's heart. Therefore, give up fruitive activities and worship me. Purport. When a devotee becomes materially very opulent, one should not think that he is enjoying the results of his fruitive activities. A devotee in this material world uses all material opulences for the service of the Lord because he is planning how to serve the Lord with these opulences, as advised by the Lord himself. Whatever material opulences is within his possession, he engages to expand the glories and service of the Lord. A devotee never performs any fruitive or ritualistic ceremonies to enjoy the result of such karma. Rather, a devotee knows that karma kanda is meant for less intelligent men. Narottam Das Thakur says in his Prema Bhakti Chandrika, karma kanda, jnana kanda, kevala vishera, bhanda. Both karma kanda and jnana kanda, fruitive activities and speculation about the Supreme Lord, are like pots of poison. One who is attracted to karma kanda and jnana kanda spoils his existence as a human being. Therefore, a devotee is never interested in karma kanda or jnana kanda, but is simply interested in favorable service to the Lord, anukulyena krishnanu shilanam, or cultivation of spiritual activities in devotional service. Om Jnanatimirandasya Kinanchana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruvi Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langite Kirim Yat Kripadamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Vancha Kalpadarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nittinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pastyatya Satarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Again, the translation. It does not matter that you are in a material world. You should always continuously hear the instructions and messages given by me, and always be absorbed in thought of me, for I am the Supersoul existing in the course of everyone's heart. Therefore, give up fruitive activities and worship me. So here in this section, we have heard how Lord Nrsimhadev was very eager to give some benediction to Prahlad Maharaj. But Prahlad Maharaj didn't want anything. Prahlad Maharaj clearly said, I'm your eternal servant and you are my master, and there is no need to change anything in this relationship. I'm simply your servant and I don't need anything. So actually Lord Nrsimhadev was very pleased with this attitude, so much so that the Lord will grant Prahlad Maharaj liberation and guarantees that he will go back home, back to Godhead, which we will hear tomorrow. Tomorrow, Lord Nrsimhadev will tell that glories of your activities will be sung in the upper planetary systems. Being fully freed from all bondage, you will return home, back to Godhead. So Lord Nrsimhadev, very pleased with Prahlad Maharaj. But yesterday we heard Yadunandan Maharaj give a wonderful class explaining or telling how Nrsimhadev says, but first I order you to enjoy all the opulences. You should become a king. So that's kind of quite amazing, no? Surprising, because Prahlad very clearly says, I don't want anything, And Lord Nrsimhadev is pleased with that, but then he gives him just a whole kingdom. Nrsimhadev says, your father, Hiranyakashipu, he has built up this whole empire, so you should enjoy it. You should rule it. You should be the king. And as Yadunandan Maharaj explained, that's quite difficult maybe to understand. It's quite incredible sometimes how the Lord acts. And Vishnava Chakravarti Thakur, in his commentaries, also takes up this point. And in the text from yesterday, he says that I will give this for only this manvantar, not longer. It's not so long. Actually, yesterday we heard it's so long that an ordinary person cannot even imagine how long it is. But Lord Nrsimhadev says, not so long, just for one manvantar. And then Vishnava Chakravarti Thakur says in his commentary, like paraphrasing Lord Nrsimhadev, do not be angry with me. Do not be angry. No, it's not so long. And then in the today's text, Vishnava Chakravarti Thakur makes a point, like as if we could ask ourselves, or Prahlad could ask, because of what offense are you throwing me in the hole of material life? Why you do this to me? Why I have to become a king now? But actually, Yadunananda Maharaj beautifully explained, sometimes for a sadhaka, of course, the Lord puts us in a certain situation in order to purify us. But in the case of Prahlad, of course, he was a pure devotee. There is no need of purification. But in that case, the Lord wanted to give an example, want to show that his pure devotee is willing to do everything, anything, whatever the Lord orders, the pure devotee is willing to do. And also to show that the pure devotee, even if he is surrounded with all kind of material opulences, he will know how to deal with it. And that's what Prabhupada mentioned in the purport mainly. So that's reasons why Lord Nrsimhadev asked Prahlad to rule and to become a king. And in today's shloka, it's said here that it does not matter that you are in the material world. It doesn't matter. And actually for a pure devotee, it's really not relevant where he is. Also Maharaj quoted the text yesterday, Narayana Para Sarve, that for the Narayana Paraya, for those, the devotees of the Lord, whether Svarga, Parvarga or Narkeshu, whether it's in heaven or hell, the devotees, they don't mind where they are, because they're just interested in the devotion, the service to the Lord. So therefore, for such a personality like Prahlad Maharaj, it doesn't really matter whether they are back home, back to God, or whether they're in the material world. Why? Because they're always connected to the Lord. But of course, for us, or at least for myself, it is a difference, whether I'm in heaven or in hell. I would prefer heaven. So for us it makes a difference, right? And actually, Srila Prabhupada also encouraged us to develop a desire to go back, home back to Godhead. That was Prabhupada's slogan. Every company has some slogan. Every political party has a slogan. So what was Prabhupada's slogan? Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. And then the other one was back home, back to Godhead. That was basically Prabhupada's slogan, Prabhupada's strong message. He repeated again and again. So Prabhupada wanted us to develop a desire to go back home, back to Godhead. And in his purport to the famous shloka, Shrinvata Svagata Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana, Prabhupada makes a very interesting point. First of all, Prabhupada mentioned that the messages of the personality of Godhead, Krishna, are none different from him. So whenever therefore offenseless hearing and glorification of God are undertaken, it is to be understood that Lord Krishna is present there in the form of transcendental sound vibration. That's why it doesn't matter whether you're in the material world, if you always hear about my message, because my message is not different from me, and in this way you will be with me. And then Prabhupada makes the point that the Lord is reciprocally responding to his devotees. When he sees that a devotee is completely sincere in getting admittance to the transcendental service of the Lord, and has thus become eager to hear about him, the Lord acts from within the devotee in such a way that the devotee may easily go back home, back to Godhead. So the Lord sees how eager we have become actually. So how eager we are to hear about him. How eager. You all came to the Bhagavatam class. I'm very grateful. Someone is listening. So that shows that you have some faith and also some eagerness. Okay, let's listen what's today. Let's hear about the glories of Krishna. So if Krishna sees that eagerness, then he, according to the degree, he will help us. But then Prabhupada says a very shocking statement. He says, first a beautiful one, that the Lord is more anxious to take us back into his kingdom that we can desire. Isn't that beautiful? The Lord is more eager to get us back that we can desire. Actually, Krishna is very eager. Krishna, I also mentioned here, as a super soul, Paramatma, is within our hearts, and he is always trying to help us to come back to him. He's observing our activity since time immemorial, and he's very eager that we come back. Even more that we can actually desire. And then Prabhupada says, most of us do not desire at all to go back to Godhead. Not at all, most of us. Only a very few men want to go back to Godhead. Only very few. But anyone who desires to go back to Godhead, Sri Krishna helps in all respects. So that's something to reflect on. No? How much have I actually developed a desire to go back to Godhead? Because, of course, theoretically we know the spiritual world, every word is a song and every step is a dance, must be a beautiful place, eternal Ras Leela, dance with Krishna, must be nice there. But on a practical level, how much we actually meditate about going there? No. If you plan a journey to I don't know, you go to Hawaii or some nice place, of course devotees they maybe go to Vrindavan, but you plan a journey, so then you look forward, you think about, let's go there. But how often do we think about going to Vrindavan, to Golok Vrindavan, to the spiritual world? How much do we meditate about? And often we actually still have so much attachment in this world, and we still have some hope to find happiness here. That's usually what's happened. We still have some hope. Maybe I can find some pleasure in this world. And Prabhupada calls this dusharaya, the wrong shelter. We're taking a wrong shelter. We're trying to find pleasure in this world. And also, how much we are actually aware that what is awaiting us if we go back to Godhead. Because Prabhupada actually wants us to go back to Godhead in this one lifetime. Of course, for some of us, it may take a few more lives, according to where we stand. But actually, Prabhupada invites everyone to go back in this very lifetime. Prabhupada was very strong in this. Why waste your time? You can do it in this lifetime. Jai Shri Radha Shyama Sundar ki, Krishna Balarama ki, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki. So if you think about this, that we are a conditioned soul who has been wandering through so many millions of lifetimes, and this very life might be the last life. Isn't it amazing? That we have unlimited lives behind us, and this is maybe the last life. And at the end of this life, which is in a few years, depending how old you are, in a few years, and then you will go back to Krishna. I mean, isn't it amazing? So how much we are aware about this? If we would be really aware, then we would be extremely enthusiastic. No? We would be extremely enthusiastic. But often, this enthusiasm is lacking a little bit. No? So that's why Prabhupada raises this point in the purport. No? Most of us, we don't really have, not at all, we have a desire. So that's something to reflect, that we should try to develop that desire. But for a personality like Prahlad Maharaj, as mentioned, it doesn't matter so much whether material world, spiritual world, because he's always thinking about the Lord. And this is also the instruction Nishingadev gives. You should always continuously hear the instruction and message given by me. Because when we always hear about the Lord, in this way we will stay connected to Him. And this is Krishna's mercy. Krishna descends in this world in different forms, different avatars, and He performs His pastimes. And then the sadhus, the saints, they repeat His katha, His lilas. We can hear about these pastimes, and by that we develop an attraction. We develop that desire to actually go back to Godhead. And also, why should we hear about Krishna? Because Krishna is the Paramatma, the super soul in our heart. Or in other words, He is Suridam Sarva Bhutanam. He's actually our true friend. He's our well-wishing friend. And Paramatma actually is always with us, always trying to help us, always trying to give us guidance. And I'm sure all of you have also made experience that sometimes we hear Krishna's voice very clearly, but we don't really follow it, no? Like the other day, I came to the temple and I put my shoes out there. And when I placed my shoes, and not inside but outside, close to a tree, then some voice told me, don't you think that looks very inviting for stealing? You know, someone may like to take the shoes if you place them right here. It was like a question like this came up in my mind. And I answered, no, never happens to me. It will be fine. So I went inside, took darshan. Oh, you're so beautiful, Radheshyam Sundar. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm walking out, the shoes are gone. You know? So, of course, I felt like Krishna, you know, behind the tree watching me to see how I react. You know, I become angry or I become upset, how much attached I am to my shoes. And they were nice shoes, you know, bought in Switzerland, nice quality shoes. But anyhow, that's a material example, and Paramatma wants to tell us much more than just this. But the point is that we all make this experience that sometimes we're actually able to hear, you know, there is some inner voice wants to guide us, wants to tell us, but often we are not really able to follow, to hear. And also, it's not so easy to see Krishna, to understand Krishna. And sometimes people also may challenge, can you show me God? Can I see God? And there was one incident also. Prabhupada was asked, can you show me God? And Prabhupada said, yes. And the journalist became very, oh wow, now something happened. And then Prabhupada showed to his brahmacharis, disciples, but first you have to become like them. No? And then you actually can see God. In other words, there is a process. Or there is the other example that someone wanted to see God, and that sadhu said, well, I can show you God, but I'm a little thirsty, can you bring me a little milk? And then they brought him a cup of milk, and the sadhu asked, I heard that butter, there is butter in milk, you know, butter is made out from milk, but I don't see any butter here. And the person said, you have to first, you know, produce yogurt, and then from the yogurt you churn the butter. It's a process. And the sadhu said, well, the same thing is with seeing God. You cannot just look and then see, but there is a process behind it. And in this regard, in regard of Paramatma, and in regard of actually to be able to see Paramatma, Prabhupada also gives a beautiful purport in Srimad Bhagavatam 1:2-32, where it is described that Paramatma pervades everything. There it says that As from wood, fire can be manifested, or as butter can be churned out of milk, so also the presence of Lord as Paramatma can be felt by the process of limited hearing and chanting of the transcendental subject. So by the process of hearing and chanting, one actually will be able to feel the presence of Paramatma. And this is what Krishna says, or Lord Nrsimhadev. You always hear about me, you remember, and because I'm the Paramatma. And if you hear about me, then actually you will feel my presence. And Prabhupada then describes the process of how this works in a very amazing way. Prabhupada says, as fire is kindled from the wood by another fire. Like in the wood, there actually is fire is already present. But it needs to be, taken out by the process. So that the divine consciousness of a man can similarly be kindled by another divine grace. His divine grace, the spiritual master, can kindle the spiritual fire from the wood-like living entity by imparting proper spiritual message injected through the receptive ears. Therefore, one is required to approach the proper spiritual master with receptive ears only, and thus divine existence is gradually realized. The difference between animality and humanity lies in this process only. A human being can hear properly, whereas an animal cannot. So that's interesting, that this hearing process, that an advanced spiritualist, someone who has actually realized Krishna, he carries Krishna in his heart. He has a lot of devotion, a lot of love, and that fire of devotion can actually come out when he speaks. And when we carefully listen, that fire of devotion can enter in our heart and can actually awaken that love in our heart also. Because it's there, like fire is in the wood. Similarly, there is actually love in our heart, but it needs to be reawakened. And that happens through the process of sadhu sangha, of the process of hearing from sadhus, as beautifully described here by Srila Prabhupada. So that's the process, and Lord Nrsimhadev recommends Prahlad Maharaj to follow that, to hear about the message of Krishna. And the word used here is also, it says, yushamana, which means to hear or to also contemplate. Because just hearing alone will not be enough. And as we know in the Upanishad, it's described different levels of hearing, or how we actually should try to absorb spiritual message or Krishna Katha. And there the example is given just as one takes food. First you take some food, or in our case prasadam, you put it on in your mouth, then you chew it, then you swallow it, and then you digest it. So there's a whole process, 4 steps. So similarly, when we hear Krishna Katha, whether it's instruction of the Lord or the pastimes of the Lord, we should do shravanam. We hear, or we read. Generally speaking, hearing is more powerful. It's always good if we can hear. And then, so we hear, and then the second phase is mananam. This is mentioned here, yushamanaha, that we actually reflect. We try to reflect about the point we have heard. And then the third, it goes a little deeper, is nididhyasanam, where we actually contemplate deeply on a subject matter. Or we can also say we place the subject matter on our heart. We give space in our heart to meditate about it. What is actually the meaning? Like before we heard that many of us, we don't have actually a desire to go back to Godhead. So that's something we can try to think about, we can try to put it in our hearts and really reflect. How much did I develop this desire? And then the fourth aspect, like digesting the whole thing, is compared to vandanam, that we actually offer prayer, that we that we offer prayer to the Lord, that we will become able to actually act accordingly from what we have heard. So that's the meaning of Yushamanaha, that we should hear and then contemplate also. So, by doing so, one will become completely absorbed in Krishna, as also mentioned here. Aveshya mam atmani sanatam ekam, become completely absorbed in me, who I'm existing as a super soul in your heart. And then the Lord gives the next instruction and says, therefore give up fruitive activities and worship me. So because you have become absorbed in me and because you're fully conscious of me, then you should give up all karma kanda, all material activities. And Prabhupada quotes in his purport Narottam Das Thakur. And he quotes from Prema Bhakti Chandrika. And this is a beautiful song, song 8. And I thought maybe we can hear the translation of this song to understand what is the context in which this point is made. In the first text it says that Vrindavan is beyond this descriptive power of words. So it starts with glorifying Vrindavan Dham, which is very nice to hear because we are in Vrindavan. It is the best of all holy places. It is self-manifest, filled with most intense transcendental bliss, free from the touch of material miseries of old age and death, and a place where Lord Krishna eternally enjoys nectar pastimes. And then in the second text, Radha Krishna are glorified. Radha Krishna's love is more glorious than gold purified in 10,000 flames. No? And then in the third, Srimati Radharani is glorified specifically. And then Narottam Das Thakur encourages us. He says, become their gopi companion. Make them more dear than life. With your eyes, drink the nectar of their beauty and pastimes. Dive in an ocean of bliss. Always serve the youthful divine couple who are seated on a jeweled throne beyond rules of the Vedas. So in this way, Narottam Das Thakur first glorifies the holy Dham and the divine couple, and then he brings it more to our level and gives some instruction. Why don't you worship Hari now that you have this rare human birth? If you don't worship him, what do you think will be your fate after death? Give up all other duties. Don't worship the demigods. Serve Lord Krishna's lotus feet. And then he says, do not worship Lord Nandanandan, the blissful master of Braj, and the entire world around you will become filled with pain. So if you don't worship Krishna, the whole world will be filled with pain. Become attracted to the higher material realms, the attainment of liberation, like karma kanda, dhyana kanda, and your available human birth will be spoiled. And then he says, do not put your trust in a material body. After death, Yamaraj will punish you, and your karma will be pushed into an ocean of pain. Will push you in an ocean of pain. Now that you have heard and understood this, please follow the path of the saints and the scriptures. Worship and love the feet of the divine youthful couple. And then this text 8 comes, which Prabhupada quotes here. Karma kanda jnana kanda kepala pishera panda amrita paliya yeba kaya nana yoni sada pire kadar yapaskana kare tara janma ada pate chaya. The fruitive worker of karma kanda and the speculations of jnana kanda are 2 pots of poison. If one drinks these 2 poison and then proclaims that they are both as sweet as nectar, he will fall from the human realm and spend a long time wandering in many species of life, eating many abominable things and enjoying many horrible pleasures. Like Narottam uses quite a graphic description, you know. So if you follow this karma kanda, if you perform rituals just for your own enjoyment, or if you follow jnana kanda, strive for liberation, which actually ends just in suicide, spiritual suicide, merging, then that's like poison. And as a result, you will fall from the human form of life, and basically you become an animal. You know, this is what's described here. You will eat many abominable things. What does a hog eat? Halva? No. A hog, they eat stool. No. Do you like to eat stool? It's like, but if you fall into a lower species of life, you will be forced by the law of nature to eat such things, and you will enjoy many horrible pleasures, like a tiger. A tiger likes to eat flesh, so you will be forced to enjoy these kind of things if you follow jnana karma or karma kanda, if you drink this poison. So in this way, and then the song continues, and towards the end it again goes back to Radha Krishna and to the spiritual world, and thirst to attain Krishna, no? Develop this desire, worship him, love him, as the residents of Braj did. And then Narottam ends, I will meditate on the youthful divine couple and sing of their nectar pastimes. I pray for that. In this life or after death, I have no other desire. Thus speaks poor-hearted Narottam Das. So Prabhupada quotes this beautiful song, making the point, because Lord Nishingadev says, give up these fruitive activities and just worship me. In other words, we should have a lot of faith and conviction in bhakti. Bhakti is really the only process which will give any results. Any other sadhana is really not giving anything. And that's also explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita with an interesting example. Agala stananya anya sadhana atta eva haribache buddhimana jana. This is from Chaitanya Madhya Lila 24:93. There it says, with the exception of devotional service, all the methods of self-realization are like the nipples on the neck of a goat. If you see a goat has on the neck like nipples, and it looks like you could milk, you get some milk from there, but actually it's not. It's just, I don't know why it's there, it's just decoration or something. You cannot really get milk out of that, right? So therefore an intelligent person adopts only devotional service, giving up all other processes of self-realization. Because any other sadhana, any other path is just like a nipple of a goat. You know, it looks like sadhana, it looks like a spiritual practice, but actually it does not give you milk, or it does not give you the real fruit, doesn't give you real benefit. And that conviction we should develop, that strong faith that bhakti is the only thing I need, and I don't need anything else than bhakti. And Prabhupada, in this purport to Utsaha Nishayat Dhariyat, Rupa Goswami's shloka describing the 6 favorable items of devotional service, there Prabhupada, in his purport, glorifies the process of bhakti like anything. It's like a really beautiful glorification of the power of bhakti. And there Prabhupada says that engagement in devotional service of the Lord is the life and soul of the living entity. It is the desired goal and the supreme perfection of human life. And Prabhupada stresses the point that all other paths will not help us, and in bhakti, even if it's not completed perfectly, there is no loss, whereas if you do anything else, you don't have any gain. And then Prabhupada makes a very interesting point. He says, devotional service is so pure and perfect that once having begun, if you have begun at any time, if you have started it, one is forcibly dragged to ultimate success. No, if you want or if you don't want, but you will be forced to perfection. If you have started once. No. It's so powerful that you will be forced. Krishna will drag you towards him. If you once say, yes, Krishna, I'm yours, I want to, devotional service is my life, I want to come to you. Krishna will have noticed it. Oh, okay. And Krishna will drag us, Even we may, give up devotional service for some time, or we space out, or we fall in Maya, but we will be dragged towards Krishna. This is the power of bhakti. And we should have faith in that actually bhakti, devotional service, that's the most powerful process we can follow. So in this way, we should be fixed in devotional service. And being fixed, we will be able to give up fruitive activities, and also we will be able to deal with the material world. Like here, Prahlad Maharaj is asked to become a king and to rule over this whole kingdom and enjoy all these opulences. And Prabhupada quotes in a purport that when a devotee becomes materially very opulent, one should not think that he is enjoying the results of his fruitive activities. A devotee in this material world uses all material opulences for the service of the Lord. So, because one is fixed in bhakti, then one will have a higher taste. The other day we also, Adi Purush Prabhu, he spoke about developing higher taste. So when we fixed in higher taste, then it will be easy to give up the lower tastes. And also, what is required is a deep realization that actually Krishna is the only proprietor and Krishna is the only enjoyer. If we understand that Krishna he possesses everything, then there is no question of us being the enjoyer. So in other words, for a Vaishnava, there is no question of bhoga and tyaga. No. Now, some people, they are into bhoga, some people, they like to enjoy material world, and some people, they want to renounce the material world. They completely renounce everything. But a Vaishnava, for him, there is no question of bhoga and tyaga, because he knows that Krishna is the only enjoyer. So there is no question of bhoga, because Krishna is the enjoyer, and I'm just his servant. And then also, there is no question of tyaga, because Krishna is the only possessor. If I understand that everything belongs to Krishna, what can I renounce? Like, I'm from Switzerland, and I'm serving in ISKCON Zurich, and the temple is a villa on a hill of Zurich in a quite good neighborhood. Okay, so there is many rich people living there. I mean, we are not rich; we are Hare Krishna devotees, but somehow by Krishna's mercy, we got this nice building in the midst of this neighborhood. But all the time, every day, you see very expensive cars. Okay, this Ferrari and Porsche. It's like they're just parking next house. There is always a red Porsche in front, like very expensive cars. So if I walk by and say, I have renounced this car, I'm completely detached of this car. What's the value of saying this? Because it's not my car. No, it has never belonged to me. So what's the value of saying I have renounced it? So similarly, if I understand that everything belongs to Krishna, what's the question of renouncing? I just have to get the right mindset that actually I'm a servant. I'm a servant of Krishna. That's why everything is meant for his enjoyment and for his service. And yesterday, Yadunandan Swami, in our Bhakti-yoga classes, which I'm attending, he made another, in the same connection, he made a very nice, give an example that once some disciples of Prabhupada, they brought a picture to Prabhupada. And the picture showed a yogi sitting there, and many people, they gave him a lot of Lakshmi, many rupee notes, a lot of Lakshmi. And the yogi was like, like rejecting. The picture showed the yogi rejecting the money. And then Prabhupada said, if you bring me all this Lakshmi, I will do like this. You can take a picture of me doing like this, embracing the money. Why? This yogi, he's very proud. Oh, I'm renouncing. I don't need anything. No. Like the other day, I was walking and I found a 2,000 rupee note on the floor. I immediately pick it up. And why? Because this is for Krishna, and we will engage it. So Prabhupada, he embraces the money because, yes, I know how to spend it. No. We build a beautiful temple. We will distribute prasadam. We will print books. So this is what Prabhupada says here, that whatever material opulences is within the possession, he engages to expand the glories and the service of the Lord. So, although a devotee may has a lot of opulences, like Prahlad, he possesses the whole kingdom of the material world, but he will engage his power, his position, and all the opulences in glorifying Krishna. And that's Yukta Vairagya, that's the way we actually deal with the material world. And in this way, Prahlad Maharaj is used by the Lord to set an example, to give an example to us that we learn how to deal in this material world. So I read again the text. It does not matter that you are in a material world. You should always continuously hear the instruction and the messages given by me, and always be absorbed in thought of me, for I am the super soul existing in the core of everyone's heart. Therefore, give up fruitive activities and worshipping me. All right. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.